are you doing in the closet?
I'm not in the closet. No, I'm just inside.
I thought you were out of the closet already.
I've been out for a while. For a few years, in fact. In fact, tomorrow is a brand new year, Daddy, so I feel it's only appropriate we talk about some of our favorite things. For instance, you're one of my favorite things.
Oh, God. That's what I was going to say.
No, that's what I was going to say. No, I was going to We got our last fight of the year. Oh.
Our last fight of the year. And first, because we never fight.
Roll the opening. Our last lie of the year, too.
And first, because I never lie. Hello!
Welcome back to
What's Safe Word?
I'm Am.
I'm Mr. Christopher.
And today,
we are talking about our favorite thing!
My favorite flavor of popsicle is dick!
These are a few of our favorite
things.
There you go. Wow.
I love that for us.
Love that journey for me.
When the dog bites. Ha!
Was that the bite of 87?
When the bee stings.
Ow! When I'm feeling mad.
Sad.
Oh, no, I'm mad.
Sad.
Because the kinky world does change year to year, from shows to media to kinks to even the toys and wearables that we find throughout the years. So I figured today would be a nice just kind of end of the year episode where we go through some of our favorite things.
And we get asked a lot where we get certain things that we showcase on the show, and now's a good time to say where they're from.
And while some of the things are favorites for a reason because they're unique or special, they leave an impact on us, you know?
Yeah, they do.
And today, the objects and items that we're talking about
Harder, Daddy!
are things that you too can get as well if you're interested. Unlike Toothy, you can't get him, he's one of a kind, so.
He's all mine. He's my little pretty pet.
He's a very nice crocodile. Ooh.
Oops.
And now he's dead. And of course, one of our favorite things is you guys coming back week to week watching our episodes, but also our lovely sponsors who make this possible. And today's sponsor,
ALLFORM!
they're here to make sure you not only have a hot seat for that hot butt, but maybe a love seat for you and a partner.
I've got a seat.
Oh, well, I say we just get into some of our favorites, Daddy.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of favorites, you're my favorite.
No, you're my favorite.
No, you're my-
No, you're my
no, you're
favorite.
my-
No, you're my favorite.
No, you're my favorite.
My favorite! Wait, are you giving me a milk bone? Is this your favorite thing, giving daddy treats?
My first favorite thing is a bone. I've got a bone to pick with you.
I got a bone to pick with you!
Oh yeah? Why is that?
This specific bone is from Jet Pup. Now, I've talked about them a few times on the Twitch. I think we've even talked about them on the podcast. But it is my brand new favorite chew toy that is not only human safe, but it doesn't have the parabens or the BPAs or any bad plastics. Okay, you're not supposed to eat it. You're just supposed to chew on it. And they're just good quality toys to slobber all over.
And tasty too.
Yeah. And while they're specifically made for humans, they're not for pets. So, you know they're gonna be something you can chew on and, nope, it's mine. And they come in a few different shapes, like bones and rocket ships. So, thanks Jet Pup for making some fun, chewy toys. Daddy, what's your first favorite gear?
Okay, so you know what I get asked the most?
I don't, but I feel like you're gonna tell us.
I get asked how I get my nipples the way that they are. And partly it's genetics, but the other part is pumping.
Like,
Yeah.
And we want to pump you up.
The way I do my pumping is I have the pump system from Mr. S Leather, where it's a ton of different little cylinders, some just for the nipples, some for like the eggplant. And it tells you the pressure, and you can just pump it up by hand.
Pump up the jam, pump it up while your feet are stumping.
And you do that for 10 or 15 minutes, and your nipples will get bigger. Is that some good ASMR? Oh, wow.
it is working. Is it a pimple pumper?
How small are your
No,
nipples?
stop it.
Wow, I didn't know I could do that.
Hey, careful, you're gonna get finger nipples.
Oh, now I have a wart.
Oh, yeah. Next favorite. Next on our favorites list, and actually favorites for both of us, is the Kink 3D chastity devices. And Kink 3D does a very good job. Are you looking for this?
Is that mine?
Well, it's not on, so Kink 3D does a really good job of having a bunch of different sized cages and rings that come in not only just flat ring devices, they have some that curve, and each of the heads shown here are different sizes as well that actually mix and match between the rings. So you're able to find the perfect size to fit you absolutely spot on.
Now, another thing that a lot of people don't know, so when you're doing chastity and you want a key holder, but you want to be held accountable for actually not unlocking,
Sure.
especially if it's long distance, they also make a kink key sleeve. This one has a chastity key locked inside with a number lock.
Whose key is that?
I forget. So you put the key in, put one of these number locks, click it securely in place, and now your dom knows if you took the key out to unlock yourself.
And they even have these tiny little chastity. No, just kidding. This is actually an ornament that we had for Christmas, but it's really cute. And they do a good job of just making fun, kinky stuff for the community. A normal chastity device, chastity. Next piece of gear.
Oh my God!
Wait, so what dom didn't you ask to be unlocked? Okay, really?
Make sure they only put one key in at a time.
That poor boy, wherever they are. I don't know. What dom doesn't know what key that goes to, huh?
I'm sure they'll come back.
Next kink.
So you know there are tons and tons of anal toys out there.
I don't want to be anal, but I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah. So I have been trying to find one that would help with the goal of being able to be fisted.
Oh.
And I finally came up with Friendly Toys, one that kind of does the same thing as a fist. I've never seen this design before.
I haven't either, but it reminds me of a sad ice cream cone.
Don't lick it.
No, I wouldn't. I'm pretty sure I know where it's been.
They're a new company out of Canada called Friendly Toys.
I wonder how they bounce. Sorry, neighbors. This next one, while not a toy or even a piece of gear, is something a little bit more wearable. And something that I know Daddy's gotten really into this year as well.
Oh.
Thongs.
Thongs.
Now, I've never been one for thongs when I was first, becoming a gay. And even when I was getting into gear and jock straps, there was always this undertone of like, jock straps are cute. Thongs are so weird though. Not from me specifically, but more so from the community. Because there's like this emasculating sort of thing to it.
It's got a femininity about it that isn't hyper masculine.
Let's try that. What was that word?
Femininity.
The back is usually where people get really bent out of shape because the thong straps are always a little, different.
It's like floss. It hurts.
Yeah, and I've taken many a friend to a bar and for underwear night and had them get in a thong, and they always feel like a little uncomfortable, and I do get it, but at the same time, thongs are just comfy if you know how it fits, and the most important part is that that back strap has to be a good fabric, okay? If it's uncomfortable, it might just be a bad fabric.
And they also are a safety net if you're wearing a butt plug.
True.
They keep it in.
Keep it together, man.
These are cute. Where do you get your thongs?
I get mine a lot from Timoteo or Cell Block, even online, but I even asked our audience what they thought about thongs just because I was curious, and had a little poll done on the interwebs. So a couple hundred people answered my question where I asked what their thoughts on thongs were, from meh to oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we had about 75% being like, oh yeah, which I just found really interesting that, 75% of people in our audience are all about thongs. Oh my God. Hey, pretty stretchy.
strong.
Pretty stretchy. I'm just waiting for,
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Thongs are huge this year. Huge. I slept in that sequin one the other day and woke up with a rash.
Sorry, what was the word?
Sequined? Sequined?
I say sequence stress.
What was the other one though?
Femininity?
Oh, you literally spit on me.
Feminine.
Next item.
Okay, so you know how people use a sling to have sex?
Yeah, sex slings, sex
But they have to have 4 points to put them in and stuff. I found an amazing product, a sling swing, that I can use as a bondage rack and a sling at one time, and it folds right under my bed. I'll get it. You ready?
This thing makes me nervous. I'll be completely honest.
So, one tie point from above. Look, and then you lay them down there. You can tie it to. Their legs go up here, and it goes wee, wee.
And are you able to iron on it?
You could. I actually did iron a shirt on it.
I would not. Well, it's a nice quality
It's
leather.
an ironing board.
Okay.
So, but it just folds in half like that and goes straight under your bed.
It's very cool, but you have to try. Don't knock it till you try it. Is all I'm gonna say, because it's a very interesting piece of gear.
Ah!
You're fine. What are you? This is your favorite.
I like it. It's just
But of course, even this episode wouldn't be possible without today's sponsor.
ALLFORM.
And while they don't make sex swings, I feel like doing the ad read in a sex swing is appropriate. Now, ALLFORM, today's lovely sponsor that's letting us talk about some of our favorites, is a sister company of Helix Sleep. And they make American-made custom couches for you at home.
I think this is for more nimble boys.
And we know that no space is without furniture that fits your needs and your style. And they make American-made couches that are easy to assemble. They are scratch resistant, they're stain resistant, and they're incredibly comfortable.
So they're perfect for daddies. No matter how you spend your downtime, your sofa is an integral part of your home.
Now their modular sofas can all be personalized for your space and style with 500 plus unique combinations depending on how you want the seats, the corners, the ottomans, or the pillows. Again, that is customized couches, but for not a custom price. They're very affordable.
It's comfy too.
They come in boxes, they're easy to ship and grab, and because ALLFORM ships directly to you with their premier materials, it means you're getting a really good price and it ships right to your door fast and free, and in boxes that aren't very heavy. And they give you a 100-day trial, so you get more than 3 months to make sure that you love it. And if you don't, they'll pick it up and offer you a full refund. And then you just put it together in 15-ish minutes. Someone didn't read the directions the first time.
You know what's so great about ALLFORM is when Daddy doesn't read the instructions and they make it so simple to take apart and do it right. How hard is that?
Our first couch, a teal love seat, was super comfortable, so we decided to expand. This time around, we chose a 3-seater with a chase, and it came in a nice smoked leather with espresso legs, and we couldn't be happier. Daddy not only has a new place to nap, and only nap, definitely just napping, but the process of putting it together was even easier the second time. And Daddy completely thought that he did it all by himself, so hey! So check out ALLFORM and visit the link down below at allform.com/watt for 20% off any sofa of your choice.
So we love our ALLFORM love seat, and we think you will too. Check them out down in the description down below. You're gonna get a cute couch. Whee! And let's hope Daddy doesn't lose too much blood here from being upside down for so long. Thank you, ALLFORM. So as far as queer media and shows go this year, we had a plethora of many good movies, shows, and books, as we mentioned. But some of my favorites came from the Netflix of it all. Did you watch No, you did watch it. We watched Sandman.
I watched Sandman with you.
And what did you think of it?
I liked it. I thought he was sexy and quirky, kind of like Edward Scissorhands. He's kind of that dark, brooding kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I liked it a lot.
And it's a wonderful series by Neil Gaiman. Now, the books are very thick. And
Oh, there's books? Reading is hard.
But as far as queer things go, it probably won't be on a lot of people's lists for gay ship because it doesn't hit you in the face with it. But there's drag, there's gender non-conforming characters like Desire, who is actually described as a being that's not feminine or masculine, but somewhere in between, because Desire doesn't really need a gender.
And there's bondage. He's trapped in a glass cage. Spoiler alert.
It is also very sexy and a little kinky in some ways, but it dives into who we are as multifaceted, very complex beings in a really sexy, very queer, and sex-positive sort of way. I still think the character's a little creepy, though.
Creepy's good. Creepy can be fun.
I guess. In fact, speaking of creepy, the next one on my list, and we'll get into your favorites as well, but the next one on my list was American Horror Story New York City.
Now, I haven't seen it all. I've only seen the first 2 episodes.
Well, but we watched it only because a lot of you guys were like, watch this series, it's bad kink, it's so blah, it's very homophobic. And
I thought the first 2 were hot.
that's just it. Now, spoiler alert,
Don't tell me, because I haven't seen it yet.
I'm gonna go into some spoiler territory here, so if you want to miss all of the New York City stuff, go to this timestamp. But the series is actually pretty good when it comes to queer representation. And I say that knowing that in episode 2 and 3, we see some terrible non-consensual kink that happens with Spock, or Zachary, whatever the hell, Quintos.
Quarantino.
What? Quarantino? Did you just say quarantine? Are you listening?
No!
But the main plot of the story are how queers were represented and treated back in the 80s, 1981 to be specific. And so not only were bathhouses a huge plot point, but AIDS and other diseases in the show are this looming threat that constantly is present in the show, but you don't really realize is there until the very end. The show talks about not only serial killers that exist who are queer, and queer coding is very inherent in horror media, but the entire cast itself is not only queer people being represented by queer people, but queer storylines, including places like Fire Island, bathhouses, doctors' offices, and even ACT UP like organizations and news people within the show that are trying to talk about police brutality in a horrible, terrible way.
Are you done?
Not yet.
Are you done yet? Are you done? Are you done yet?
So, case in point, the first 3 or 4 episodes that we did watch together, Daddy's not a big horror fan, so...
Horror is okay. I don't like gore. I don't like needless blood and decapitations.
So there's a serial killer who is queer in the show, you know that. But the first couple episodes, they literally go over things like flagging and cruising.
Yeah, and Sandra Bernhard plays a great lesbian.
Exactly. That's the only thing you got from it?
Yeah. Well, no, that, and it really was indicative of that time. They had the phones on the wall, the 501 Levi's jeans. It was...
RC Cola.
It's really well art directed.
My favorite thing was looking over him, was like, so is this true? Like looking at the bathhouses and the clothing, and he's like, yeah, they have phones on the wall.
They did. The phone did not follow you around.
But the very first death that happens on screen happens in this gay warehouse, very cruisy, and the guy's getting head and in the process loses his head. It's kind of cheeky in that way.
Tongue in cheek.
No, he didn't have a tongue in his mouth. He had a hanky in his mouth. And the cops even go out on the limb and say, oh, they're doing that flagging thing. And then they educate you on what flagging is. So it's this really nice, very queer representation. But, earmuffs again. While the entire show is this serial killer trying to capture gay men and decapitate them and take away their body parts and turn them into this big amalgamation to represent like how we're treated as gay people in the society, that is not the main looming threat. In fact, there's this spectral that you see throughout the entire show called Big Daddy, who you think is a real person killing people, when in fact, it's actually this looming disease that, while not called AIDS, is this AIDS of the show. And every character at the end of the series, again, spoiler alert, dies because of AIDS. And so it's really, I'm getting chills just about it. It gets off of the real horror of like a person doing terrible things and focuses on how not noticing this AIDS in the community kills not only the gays, but the straight allies, the wife that ends up divorcing one of the gay people, and even this surrogate mom who ends up getting a sperm donor from a gay guy, and she ends up getting AIDS as well. So this whole threat is actually just AIDS, and how our lackluster treatment of the queer community leads to death and death and death. And so while it's a really sad series, you can un-earmuffs now.
Oh, okay.
While it's a really sad series...
Oh, it doesn't have a happy ending?
It's American Horror Story. What do you expect? The true horror isn't actually the people, but it's something else.
Oh, what is it?
You had earmuffs on, so I can't tell you.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to watch this episode to tell. So a movie I watched that I don't think you did was the movie Fire Island.
Oh.
Did you see that?
I saw Fire Island in American Horror Story, but no, I did not watch the movie.
Have you ever been to Fire Island?
La 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 la. I don't want it to be ruined!
I'm not gonna give you away plot points.
What?
Yeah, because I can't remember the plot points. But I thought they did a really, really good job. Have you ever been to Fire Island?
No.
This is why straight people hate us.
And also heteronormativity, Judeo-Christian pathology, anal.
Okay, so it is It's kind of an upscale community of upwardly mobile muscle white guys mainly that go there to vacation from New York. And so it follows, I guess you would call them non-A gays that just go out there to be with their friends, and Margaret Cho is their landlord.
Oh God.
Who's fantastic. I love Margaret Cho. Anyway, I thought they did a really good job of pointing out the things in our community where we need to improve upon.
We are literal trash. Guys, excuse me? I think you may have the wrong house.
And how we all have ways we judge each other.
And I heard it was great, but I just haven't had time to watch it, and I was waiting to watch it with someone.
Well, so was I with American Horror Story.
You don't like gore, though. And I just don't like white muscle gays. They're gross.
Another movie that we both saw was Bros that kind of did the same thing, showing kind of the circuit community of the gay scene.
And it's a movie that you could actually take your parents to kind of talk about topics like steroids or butt pics.
Ass pic? Don't have ass pic. Must see pic of ass. Took this just for you, bro. Did he block me?
Or even using Grindr and dating in that regard, and how gays, while very promiscuous, are still capable of having a loving relationship.
Intimate relationships.
Yeah.
Bottom dip.
Oh my God. Gay sex was more fun when straight people were uncomfortable with it.
No, I enjoyed that one.
I did too, and as far as movies go, another queer one that I recommend everyone see, especially if you like Marvel and superhero-y things, is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Now you may only see a pile of receipts, but I see a story.
Is that Hot Dog Fingers?
Yes. And the reason that it is on my list of faves this year, not only because they told a multiversal movie in a very, very intelligent way, but it deals with the American dream, Asian American families, and even queer people having to live up to expectations that their parents have. Michelle Yeoh in it plays not only an amazing character, just trying to do her best to not only get her father's approval, but has a queer daughter who's pretty much doing the same. And there's definitely a bunch of kinks in it that are being unlocked for people.
Hot Dog Fingers. Is that a kink we haven't done yet? Hot Dog Fingers?
Is it a kink?
It's gotta be now.
There's even a guy who sits on a trophy that looks like a butt plug, and there's lots of trauma because Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. So it's a great movie that not only we recommend, but was also something we watched with my mom. And
I was gonna say, we watched it with your parents.
She enjoyed it, so. And bagels, because bagels.
Go with Hot Dog Fingers.
No, do you remember the bagel?
No, what was the bagel?
Never mind. Just check it out. It's a really good movie, weaves a bunch of storylines together, and proves that you don't always have to understand someone fully to appreciate that we're all human and have just an experience that might be different.
So you know what reading is?
Fundamental.
Hard.
No.
I don't read a lot of books because it's time consuming and hard. But this year, Stephen Ferris wrote this book, Blue Movie. It was so easy for me to get through. Probably because it's very simple, a lot of simple sentences.
And only about 200 pages, if that.
No, it was very quick and easy to get through. But if you haven't read The Life of Blue Bailey, it's a read.
And I would say that it's something that all queer people should read. It shows us a part of our community that, while not true for everyone, is a valid experience that many people have around drugs, HIV, sex, and your own self-worth when finding your community. I don't want to give away too much, but there's sex, love, drugs, rock and roll, and death. So
much drugs.
Are you speaking to the book?
Drugs.
And as far as books goes, Janet Hardy, which she was on our list last year for The Ethical Slut, has written 2 new books in the meantime, the topping book and the bottoming book, both wonderful reads with great information, not only for tops, but for bottoms, respectfully.
No verse book?
Janet, get on that, bestie, please.
It'd be so versatile.
Next item. Actually, one of my favorites that has to do a lot with you guys in our community is a Kinky census that we just launched last month, which has given us so much insight into a lot of what makes our community go round. If you'd like to fill it out, it is still open. We're gonna be doing an episode in the future where we pretty much dissect and look at demographics, where people are coming from, how people learn about sex education, and also where people fall on different kind of dynamics, even neurodivergencies. It's a really interesting deep dive and look into our community that we can only look into if y'all fill it out. So if you'd like to check it out, I always appreciate and love seeing the data that revolves around the kink community.
Love pink.
And that goes for people that are both kinky, or maybe even those that consider themselves a bit more vanilla. Everyone's valid. Have you filled it out yet, Daddy? Have you not filled it out yet?
Where is it?
It's on our social medias. What do you mean, where is it?
Filling out things is hard.
It takes literally 5 minutes, if that. And they're all short answer, or fill in the blank, or little like bullet points.
Okay, that I can do.
It's very easy.
Fine.
And it's just to kind of have a fun look at our community. It's not, listen, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, so like if the questions aren't perfect, I'm sorry, but it's something that provides us information, and there's really very few things in our community that are made by our community with our community in mind. So this information will kind of be a nice big decompression at the beginning of next year that I'm looking forward to looking into.
And I'm looking forward to filling out.
And I feel like media and gear aside, I feel like it would not be an end in review without some of our favorite kinks from this year, Daddy. Do you have any favorite kinks?
Favorite kinks? Mine are still nipples and bondage.
And I think that this year alone, I definitely got more into hypno.
Yeah, dog.
Okay, put a bone in it. And it is very primal in that way, a little bit more primal play, which we still haven't done a video on, but if you're interested in that, happy to do it. Bark.
No, I'm not the dog.
Speak.
No, I'm speaking.
Speak.
I'm speaking.
And those are kind of my goals as well, is learn a little bit more about hypno, maybe even getting into hypnotizing people, consensually of course. I know for myself, even as someone who knows pretty much what they like, every once in a while you find something that you go, oh.
And I've been exploring hole play a little bit more. I never have, and now I'm looking to expand my
What are you doing, step bro?
horizons.
I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, yeah. But whether you're showing someone your whole world or just getting down and dirty with some new kinks, make sure you have a safe word. And today's safe word is
hot dog fingers.
Oh, okay. Why?
Because that will stop a scene. Hot dog fingers. Hot dog fingers.
Use your hot dog fingers down below and leave some of your favorites in the comments if you want.
If you like ringing bells, ring that bell down below.
And don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye. I mean, they've got to have the hot dog fingers somewhere. Who is it? Like Square Peg or someone that has like the glove with the different like
yeah, but it has different like speed bumps on it.
Dildo fingers.
Yeah, dildo fingers.
Dildo fingers. Dildo fingers.
Capping. Which, try as I might, capping. That's a thing. Capping. Let's make it a thing.